Hey there, working listeners. Before we start the show, I want to let you know about a story coming up a little later. It's from one of our partners, SAP. AI comes at you fast. If you don't get reliable and relevant advice, your business might miss out. Whether you're looking to automate tasks or embed AI in your business processes, SAP can help. To learn more, head to sap.com/AI and stick around for expert advice on how to embrace AI with confidence.
The IKEA Business Network is now open for small businesses and entrepreneurs. Join for free today to get access to interior design services to help you make the most of your workspace, employee well-being benefits to help you and your people grow, and amazing discounts on travel, insurance, and IKEA purchases, deliveries, and more. Take your small business to the next level when you sign up for the IKEA Business Network for free today by searching IKEA Business Network.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Working Overtime, the bi-weekly advice-focused long weekend at the beach to workings, taking the entire month of August off Euro style. I'm your host, June Thomas.
And I'm your other host, Isaac Butler. So, June, I've got my cold can of Coke Zero next to me, my blanket spread out, a stack of books that I've been meaning to get to. There's a ukulele playing in the background, the soft sounds of surf. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, Isaac, we are a little bit over the halfway point in the year. And for me, that means that I am overdue to check in on the creative resolutions I set for myself in the new year. My hot take is that a lot of people who dislike New Year's resolutions feel that way because they are doing them wrong. If you get to December and you are looking at last year's resolutions for the first time, they have done you no good. If you're going to make a serious commitment to changing your behavior because you have goals to meet, you have to check in on them on a regular basis. I'm going to get off my soapbox now. But are you willing to assess our progress so far this year, Isaac?
Willing is a really great way to put it. I'm not sure that I would say eager, but I'm not going to yuck your yum, June.
All right.
Let's carry on.
All right. So let me consult the massive ledger where we keep a permanent record of working hosts' creative New Year's resolutions. All right. Butler, Isaac. It says here that your first one was to stick with your French language learning. How did that go?
It went así, as they say in Spain, for a while. I was really dedicated to it, sticking to it, doing the apps every day. I had a workbook. I had all this thing. Then there was like a perfect storm of things happened. The first is I signed up for intermediate French. I went to the class. And my beloved French teacher was not the person teaching it.
What?
There's just this other person I'd never met before. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on here? So I wrote my French teacher to say, hey, how's it going? You didn't teach class today. What's up? And it turned out she had a terrible accident and had moved back to France for several months to take advantage of their socialized medicine there. So I lost my beloved teacher. Then, as I've mentioned here before on the show, my father got sick. He was in the hospital for 2 months and I was back and forth to DC all the time. And then we went to France, and I have to say, focusing on the French, I actually did really well for me in France. I was able to say "Où sont les toilettes?" and hear the response. But that also took the wind out of the sails a little bit, right? Because I had a goal for it. I succeeded in that goal, and just with how behind I got with the book and all this other stuff, I just had to set it aside. I don't think my lifelong journey with French is over. My hope is after I turn the book in to go back to it, honestly. A really wonderful part of the experience was feeling like it literally felt like my brain was growing while I was doing it. You know, you could almost feel the new synapses forming, and that was really pleasurable. And you learn a lot about how your brain works from learning a language, because I studied Spanish as a kid, right? So, you know, there would be all these times where I was looking for a French word and a Spanish word that sounded nothing like it would come out, and you're like, oh, right. It is actually a geographic part of your brain that electric signals are going to and sometimes getting miswired from. So I loved doing it. It just no longer fit into my life.
Yeah. Isaac, I have to tell you, I'm glad that was our first resolution and your first response, because to me, you just described like the perfect response to, you know, how to deal with so-called resolutions when life throws surprises at you. That was what you just described is the very opposite of a fail. You assess what was going on. You looked at your priorities. And I think you made the exact right decision. As you said, the French language will always be there waiting for the next fenêtre in your calendrier. And, you'll be able to go back to it. And that was so smart. Absolutely. A++.
Okay, June. It's time for me to hold your feet to the fire.
Oh my God.
I was reading Snow White, the original, the Grimm version of Snow White to my daughter, and how the queen is executed, the evil witch queen, is they heat iron shoes in a blacksmith's forge, and she has to stand in them until she dies. So
oh my God.
It is my turn to put you in the heated iron shoes, June. You said you were going to take it easy once your book was, quote unquote, done. Now, we had a bit of back and forth on what that meant because you actually finished doing the book like 75 times before the book actually comes out. But this was about you finding a way to get out of overwork mode. So how did it go for you?
Yeah, you're right. I wanted to figure out how to work in what felt like a sustainable way. In the 18 months or so before a book goes off to print, there is a ton of really stressful work. As you say, you finish a book 15 times. I felt really anxious, but I was also worried about transitioning out of that super, super hyper, like there is no time to do anything else but just focus on work mode. Because of the way that I misspent my youth, I wasted so many years until I was about 35, really, just throwing away time, not living up to my potential. And a lot of it was because I had trouble getting down to work. I had trouble getting out of bed. And I was an absolute master of procrastination, which in my case, at least, was just another word for being hopelessly distracted. Now, over the years, I changed my habits. I am now really very focused. But on some level, if I'm not over busy, there's always somewhere at the back of my head, I'm worried about backsliding and being a wastrel again. And I think that makes it really hard for me to kind of maintain those good, positive work habits because I'm always worried, if I'm not overworking, will I stop working? So that's always been a bit of an issue for me.
Yeah, and it's also always very pleasurable, I actually think, to be totally consumed by a creative project, right? Like a thing that we don't always talk about is like, it does feel good. That's why people do it. Like it does, you do get a little addicted to it. But how is your process of working without overworking, or maybe even taking some time off and allowing yourself to take a break? How's all that going?
Well, it's going okay, I would say. Like you warned me, there's a lot to do before the book comes out. And then when it came out, I did a mini tour. I was on some podcasts. I did some interviews. I wrote some articles. And in August, I have a few more events in the UK and in the Midwest. But then we decided to move. And the timing, which was largely out of our control, meant that it is happening in July. So right now, before the next round of book-related events, we're busy packing and preparing for a relocation. The last time we moved was across the ocean. This time we're moving to a place a 5-minute walk away, but there's still a ton to do. It's very kind of all-consuming. So I've not been doing as much creative work as I would like, hardly any, in fact. I have a next book in mind. I've done a bunch of research. I, quote unquote, just need to write the proposal. But realistically, that's probably not going to happen for a couple of months. Again, that creates a certain amount of anxiety, which feels rational, but also I feel like it's healthy to be not doing it, but also feeling a little bit, driven. I'm not pushing myself to overwork. I'm not trying to accomplish both the physical work of moving and the creative work of writing a proposal. I've not forgotten about the work I want to do. I don't feel like I'm going back to my procrastinating ways. I'm thinking about it. So, long way of saying, I guess I'm on track, even though I wish I was further along the proposal process.
That doesn't really sound like you're taking it easy, though, I gotta say. Like, you haven't taken a break.
No.
You're moving, which is incredibly stressful and time-consuming no matter what. So do you have any time built in once the move is done, after you've done those events, to just like take a week off and watch movies or go on holiday or something to recharge?
A little bit. So one of the things that I'm doing is at one of these British festivals, which honestly I'm slightly terrified about, the Wilderness Festival. And it is in Oxfordshire. So once that's over, neither of us have ever been to Oxford. So we're spending a few days in Oxford. And that will be a vacation. So it's not a week. The whole thing is, I think, 5 days, but it is a break. It's not going to be work. It's not going to be moving. It's not going to be thinking. It's just going to be being a tourist. And so, yes.
All right. I'm going to give you a passing grade, not on taking it easy, but on being on the way to maybe taking it a little easier.
Thank you, Professor Isaac. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back with more creative New Year's resolution check-ins.
This podcast is brought to you by Slate Studios and SAP. AI is moving so fast. If you don't get reliable and relevant advice, your business might miss out. Welcome to Dear Artie, an advice column from SAP, where we tackle the tricky questions at the intersection of AI and business. Here's our expert, the technology futurist, Ian Kahn.
Hi, I'm excited to dive into today's question.
Dear Artie, as our company expands, so do our hiring efforts. How can AI help us attract top talent? Signed, Searching for Higher Power.
So, searching for higher power, one of the most daunting undertakings of an HR leader today is building a new team and finding and vetting new talent. This is a very time-consuming process and can take precious organizational resources. As a companion to the HR team, AI technology can be used to create job descriptions, analyze candidate resumes, and filter candidates into various pools based on experience, skills, or any other parameter. You can also use AI to match internal talent with positions available. Parameters for this can be set, rules can be set, that can all be done through the algorithm. There are so many things that we as humans could be not looking at that AI can do in a matter of seconds.
Embrace AI with confidence. Head to sap.com/AI to learn more.
This podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Most of you listening right now are probably multitasking. Yep. While you're listening, you're probably also driving, cleaning, exercising, or maybe even grocery shopping. But if you're not in some kind of moving vehicle, there's something else you can be doing right now. Getting an auto quote from Progressive Insurance. It's easy, and you can save money by doing it right from your phone. Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save nearly $750 on average, and auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Discounts for having multiple vehicles on your policy, being a homeowner, and more. So, just like your favorite podcast, Progressive will be with you 24/7, 366 days a year, so you're protected no matter what. Multitask right now. Quote your car insurance at progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
Hey listeners, do you have any tips or questions about the creative process? We would love to answer your questions, elevate your insights, and help you in whatever way we can. You can email us at work@getslate.com, or even better, you can call us and leave a message at 304-933-WORK. All right, back to the show.
And we're back. Isaac, your second resolution was to do a better job of keeping track of your projects and tasks and to be more proactive about that planning. How is that going?
It's going okay. I definitely made concrete steps to being more organized in the month after I made that promise. I bought a nice planner, with like a calendar and a checklist thing. I bought then a smaller book for writing down thoughts and ideas. I was really doing all of it. And then, when everything happened with my dad, no habit that I was newly formed did I stick to, I'm lucky I was still exercising and brushing my teeth, honestly, because it just everything got upended. And so I feel like since then I've been like rebuilding back to the the place where I feel like I'm pretty good at being on top of things, which has also included saying no to some assignments. I backed out of a thing that I had, which you sometimes have to do when life comes at you, and just really paying attention to my calendar and what's going on. And even if I'm not writing down, okay, that morning work on this, in my head, I'm thinking like Monday morning, I have 3 hours. I'm going to do this thing, then I'm going to do that, and so on and so forth. Making checklists, crossing things off those checklists.
Oh my goodness.
Setting specific time, blocking my calendar. I've definitely made some baby steps back in that direction. It's not quite where it was before, but I feel good about my progress on that front.
I'm so proud of you. I just love to hear people really getting into planning. As soon as you said checklist, I'm just like...
It's your love language?
It really is. Yeah,
hey,
fantastic.
June, checklist.
Crossing off the checklist. Oh my
Bullet
God.
Journal.
Stop. This is not an X-rated show.
I'm sorry. I just can't stop going, Zettelkasten.
Oh!
Now, your second resolution was to actually watch the movies and read the books that you put on your, yes, I want to watch and read that, or as you called it, shopping your stash, I believe.
Yes, shopping my stash.
Now, I told you that, you also have to be honest with yourself that maybe you bought something that you thought you were going to like and then you don't like it. It's okay not to like things. It's okay not to finish things. Don't get so aspirational that you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
What was this process like for you?
Well, Isaac, I think in our show, you used the word bullshitting. You suggested I might be bullshitting myself about some of these things that I had said I wanted to read or said I wanted to watch. And yeah, I really was. I don't know what I was telling myself these things. Who was I trying to impress? No idea. But yeah, I definitely did let go of some of these kind of unrealistic aspirations. I will say, though, that I am still having issues that I really would like to fix. It's not about reading. I've read, I think so far I've read 49 books. Like, I can read. The thing that I am not being successful with is reading paper books, that is physical books, booky books, whatever we want to call those.
Now, are you a audiobook person or
Yeah.
are you an ebook person, or it's both? It's just the physical book that you can't do.
I mostly listen to audiobooks and I do pay attention to them. And I can read Kindle books, although I don't particularly enjoy that, but I can get through them. But I find myself being so distracted when I'm with physical books. And even if I'm enjoying them, I kind of set them aside. And so I really kind of want to fix that problem. Again, why does it matter? Well, because I own a lot of physical books and I want to read them. And I love to go to bookstores and buy books. And I don't want to feel like now this is a dead medium. My goodness, we're moving and packing so many books. Most of our possessions are books. I don't want them to be just some, decoration on a shelf. If I can't read them, it makes me question my very essence. So I'm not okay with that, but I don't really have a strategy for addressing that, but I need to fix it somehow.
So I have some thoughts about this.
Okay.
When did your problem reading physical books really, when did that become
an issue?
Yeah.
I would say, so I think when I was working on my book, obviously I was looking at a lot of books, but I wasn't kind of reading them from start to end. I would be consulting them, reading or rereading and really paying attention to one or two chapters in a book, but not start to finish reading. So I think it's that. And then also I did become more enamored and spent more time with audiobooks.
Right.
So it's a kind of a combination of those two things, I think.
Yeah. So my theory is that a lot of this is book writing and having the book come out related. And that if you were to pick up a paper book in 6 months, you would find that you don't have the same problem. That you are really seriously, and this is still true because the book only came out, a month and a half ago, maybe less. Yeah. That you're really still in that place, and you're not out of it yet. So just go easy on yourself. It's okay that you're not reading paper books right now. Or, the other thing that I could recommend that my wife does is she will read the book and she'll listen to the audiobook of the same book. And then she just dips right back in. Like especially if she's struggling with the book, like it's kind of a weighty, nonfiction-y tome, a history book or whatever, she'll do that. And she's found it really, really helpful. It does mean you're buying the same book twice, but
that's all right. It's a good thing to do for writers.
It is not a bad thing. So I think part of it is that. And I also think like people's reading habits change. Listening to an audiobook is absolutely reading. Do you know what I mean? You're still focusing. I know that you know how to focus for a long period of time. You do too. I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of that. Just like right now, it's something you're struggling with. I also love that you understand that there's no one you have to impress at this point in your life. If you don't feel like watching, I don't know, a 9-hour Hungarian movie about a goat farmer or whatever, you can just stop watching it. It is okay to like get partway through something and either decide that it's not for you or that you've gotten everything out of it that you need to get and set it aside. That's okay.
Yeah, fully agree. All right, we'll be back with our final resolution check-ins after this. This podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Most of you listening right now are probably multitasking. Yep. While you're listening, you're probably also driving, cleaning, exercising, or maybe even grocery shopping. But if you're not in some kind of moving vehicle, there's something else you can be doing right now. Getting an auto quote from Progressive Insurance. It's easy, and you can save money by doing it right from your phone. Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save nearly $750 on average, and auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Discounts for having multiple vehicles on your policy, being a homeowner, and more. So, just like your favorite podcast, Progressive will be with you 24/7, 366 days a year, so you're protected no matter what. Multitask right now. Quote your car insurance at progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
First, the bad news. SAP Business AI won't help you generate cubist versions of your family's holiday photos, but it will help you understand which supplier is best to help you roll out your plant-based packaging in Southeast Asia, identify the training your junior project manager needs to rise up the ranks, and automate repetitive tasks while you focus on big innovations, so you can be ready for the next opportunity. Revolutionary technology, real-world results. That's SAP Business AI.
At crucial stages, business owners ask themselves, how am I going to do this? It's not about doubt. It's about opportunity with the right financial partner. At Sandy Spring Bank, we work alongside businesses in the DMV. It's the best part of being a community bank. With our Flex Business Checking, loans, and lines of credit, we're the here's how for thousands of area businesses. What's your next financial destination? Sandy Spring Bank. Visit sandyspringbank.com/business. Member FDIC.
Listeners, I just want to remind you that if you are enjoying working overtime, please follow us. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, we'd love you to rate or review the show. If Overcast is your app of choice, please hit the star to recommend this episode to others.
All right, we're in the final stretch. Isaac, your third and final creative resolution for 2024 was to take one real day off a week as you get into the really demanding stage of writing your next book. And I just want to clarify, a real day off as opposed to one of those fake days off where you just read for research or just watch several documentaries related to your project. So how's it going?
I think it's actually going pretty good.
Oh, good.
That day is usually Saturday. So on the weekends, we tend to switch off parenting. You know, one of us takes the morning one day and the afternoon the next day, and we just flip-flop. And so Saturdays, generally, I'm parenting in the morning. We go to a special dad-daughter breakfast. We maybe have a play date with a friend. And then Anne takes her in the afternoon. I go see a movie. I nap. I read for pleasure. I have a drink with a friend, something like that. I just really let go completely on Saturday. And then Sunday morning, I'm right back in it. It's worked out pretty well.
Oh my goodness. That sounds amazing.
June, your third resolution was to speak to more people about the research for your next book project. Now, I'm going to say, I have no idea what your next book project is, and I don't know how the research is going. So is that indicative of how this resolution has been going in general, or is it just that there's issues in our friendship that we need to talk about on or off mic to resolve?
We could definitely talk about it off mic. Because I have not launched it, I have been very circumspect in who I have spoken to about the details of it. So that's not reflective of what's going on. We just haven't seen each other in person of late.
Are you saying it's not you, it's me? Is that?
It's not us. It is the
Atlantic Ocean.
Yes, exactly. It's the Atlantic Ocean. Thank you. So I've actually been doing all right with this. As I said earlier, I'm not as far along with the next book project as I'd hoped. So I really don't have anything to share with people to get feedback on. But I have talked to a couple of people who have written or are writing books in that genre. And those conversations have been really, really, really helpful. So I'm definitely going to give myself an incomplete grade, but I am very relieved that it's not a complete fail. So, Isaac, I know you said you were not eager, but now that we've done this, what do you think of this mid-year check-in process? I think it's essential. Are you a convert now?
I think whenever you are trying to establish new habits or kind of new norms for yourself, you have to have some accountability structure, whatever it is, right? Maybe that's a book club or a podcast episode halfway through the year, or, maybe you just have a friend who you talk to and check in regularly on this sort of thing. Building those structures is really important. That said, the moment when it's like accountability time,
Yes.
That never feels good, even if you've done a great job. It's like even when things are in good shape, you're not like, oh, great, I can't wait to be held accountable for all of my actions.
I totally hear you, but we did it, and I feel good about it. All right, that's all the time we have for this episode, but let me leave you with one last piece of advice. I think you should subscribe to Working wherever you get your podcasts. And if you would like to ask us a question, you can send us an email at working@slate.com or leave a voice message at 304-933-WORK.
If you'd like to support what we do, sign up for Slate Plus at slate.com/workingplus. You'll get bonus content, including exclusive episodes of Slow Burn and Decoder Ring, and you'll be supporting what we do right here on Working.
Thanks, as always, to Working Overtime's producer, Kevin Bendis, and to series producer, Cameron Drews. We'll be back on Sunday with a brand new episode of Working, and in 2 weeks, we'll have another Working Overtime. Until then, get back to work.
Pulling up to Mickey D's just for drinks? Oh yeah, that's me. Nothing extra, just perfection and a straw. Coming in hot for the coldest cups on the block. Because there are drinks. Then there are drinks from McDonald's.
Mix things up with any size lemonade or sweet tea for $1.49. Perfect with our classic fries. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.